Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Daily Magic. My name is SlytherinKnight, and I am so happy you could join me. So, today's daily quest is to cast 20 blue or green spells. Not too difficult, and we actually have two different options for this. We have our Simic Merfolk deck, which is the one we have typically been using for the last handful of times. We also have our Simic Toxic deck, which has been a very long time since we've used this one in an episode. I do use this occasionally on my own, as you can see. I used it a little bit between this episode and the last. It's a good deck. It works well, and I do think we're going to run it today. For those of you who have not seen this deck, the basic premise revolves around poison counters. If you're not sure what that is, it's a counter you can apply directly to your opponent. Then as you can see, once a player with 10 or more poison counters loses the game, or anyway, if you get 10 or more, you're done. It doesn't matter what your health is at. If you get 10 poison counters, you lose. And that's the focus of this deck, is applying poison counters, specifically with Venerated Rotpriest and comboed with Ivy Gleeful Spellthief. See, Rotpriest's whole thing is that whenever a creature you control becomes the target of a spell, target opponent gets a poison counter. Ivy's whole thing is that whenever a player casts a spell that targets only a single creature other than Ivy, you may copy that spell, apply it to Ivy. So if you have a Venerated and a Spellthief on the field, and you say use Combat Research on Venerated Rotpriest, that generates one poison counter for Venerated Rotpriest. Copy it to Ivy, which then creates another poison counter, because a new spell is being applied to a creature you control. Imagine the insanity of having 4 of these on the field, each one of them triggering their ability. Yeah, things can get wild. But that is the main purpose of this deck. That does mean that there is a very big, glaring weakness, and that is not having your Rot Priests in your opening hand. This is one of the only decks that I actively mulligan, and that I'm willing to go down to 5 cards for. That's mulliganing twice. It's like this is a decent opener. We're going first. We have a Rot Priest. We don't have our Ivy, but that is not the end of the world. We don't need Ivy, specifically. And sometimes, even now still, playing a Rot Priest is at times all you need to get someone to end the game, to concede the match. Ooh, very nice. Rotpriest also has Toxic 1, so anytime it deals damage, it applies a single poison counter. Let's go ahead. We're playing against mono green, so I'm not terribly worried about them having spells to try to get rid of our stuff. That's not how they play. Not really. Though they do have that. Sure, I'll take an action. And I'll use the rest of what I have to get out my Bloated Contaminator, which is our main damage dealer. I really like its ability. Okay. So the sad thing is here, not much going for us. I am going to attack. Depends on who they block. They're going to block you, which is probably the better option. And that's game. See, very quick, very easy. Whenever I'm trying to get wins, this is the deck I run, because it is probably my most winningest deck. It works very well if you can get what you need. if you can get the cards you need, if you can be lucky with RNG, with your draws, with your starting hand, it can be this deck can be terrifying. And highly annoying. Like this is one of the best setups I could ever hope for. 2 Rotpriests, some easy spells, a Gleeful, an Ivy off the get. That's very nice. Now, what I'm hoping for in terms of draw, I would actually prefer mana coming up. Yeah, I would actually prefer to grab mana. But that works as well. Like for this, I am going to send out... Actually, I'm going to go ahead and send out my other Rotpriest. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and send out my other Rotpriest. Ivy is great, but I don't necessarily need her on the field for things to get kind of crazy. And with my opponent only, I don't know what they're doing. I guess they're trying to pull more mana, and they had nothing else. Just for my own amusement, what I was going to do, obviously we're going to play our land, and then with the land play, instead of throwing out Ivy, I would have gone with Security Bypass to one of them. That's 2 more poison counters, and then I would have Audacity to one of them, another 2, bringing them to 5, plus 2 from the hits, bringing them to 7, and then yeah, things would not have been going their way very quickly. But yeah, this deck makes things easy, makes things quick, and it's one of the reasons I don't use it as often in these videos. Because I mean, don't get me wrong, this is not a guaranteed winning deck. I have gone massive streaks, 10 plus matches that were losses using this deck. And a lot of the time that is because of bad hands and bad draw. Let's see if we can get a bad hand. Okay, so is this... Actually, no, this is not a great hand, because we're starting off with 2 blue. I mean, sure, with no green mana in sight. I'm going to keep this. Mainly, I'm going to keep it. Mainly because we have a lot of good setup here. Only bad thing is, no green mana in sight. There we go. That makes me feel better. I'm actually going to go ahead and send out Ivy. I'm going to send out Ivy instead of my Rotpriest. For no real reason. Well, I feel like things might turn out better. I don't know. But doing that, I can now... That is now 2 counters. And I'll send out my next one, also on you. Draw 2 more. Jeez. They really want me to have my Ivy, don't they? Another thing to keep in consideration, this deck doesn't really focus on taking our opponent to 0. We have cards that let us do that, typically our Bloated Contaminator. That is our main damage dealer. But the main focus of this is getting this number to 10. That is our focus. That is what we want to do. So naturally, we're not going to block this. Or we're not going to block that, because that would be completely besides the point. So, with this, I am going to go ahead and send out you. I'm going to send out my other my Storm Drake. Apply this to the Storm Drake. because it has an ability. Ooh, Infectious Bite. Your award 3. I can use this on... Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. I probably want to get rid of you. I would love to get rid of you, but I don't have the mana for it, so... And with that, we pretty much have them. At the start of our next turn, we win, unless they do something to get rid of our Rotpriest. If they have something that can get rid of our Rotpriest, then I don't know, but... So this time, I actually am going to block. I'm going to use my Stormchaser Drake to negate 5 damage. Okay. That's fine. See, I'm not worried. I'm not worried because I don't need to deal damage to them. I did pull another Rotpriest, which is very nice. They're gonna get the picnic. I will give them this. They are doing everything possible. They are doing everything possible, but and that's it. They see it. I could have ended, obviously I could have ended that just by playing our security breach. That's 2 right there, but I wanted to play my last Rotpriest again to help with our when it pops up, to help with our daily. So, not too bad in my opinion. That is 3 matches, 3 wins. We're close enough to our 15-minute that I do think we're going to wrap it up here. I know we're very close to completing this, but that doesn't mean much, especially since we've already leveled up. Another win or another completed match won't level us up again. So what did we get? Just the pack. I see that. So, before we get to the pack, let's go ahead and get to our mastery tree. This came up, I think, between episodes. So we have 1 orb, and we will be rewarded with a card style for Forensic Gadgeteer. Alright. Can't say I've seen the... Actually, no, I've seen 1 person use this card before. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, investigate. Okay. Activate abilities of artifacts you control for cost 1 less to activate. Not bad. And this is not a legendary, so you can stack that with 4 other copies. This effect can't reduce the mana in that cost to less than 1 mana. That's not bad. Alright. With that, we have, like I said, we have a pack to open before we wrap things up. Anything interesting? Nothing in the new, or in the commons or uncommons? I like this art. That's kind of cool looking. What is our mythic? Ooh, a mythic instead of a rare. Okay. I think I already had 4 copies of this, so that's not too bad. But yeah. There we go. But yeah. With that, we are going to wrap things up. If you enjoy this episode, and if you want to see more of this particular deck, like I said, I don't use it very often because it doesn't lose very often. But anyway, if you want to see more of it, let me know. If you enjoyed this episode, please feel free to hit that thumbs up button down below. If you are new to the channel, hello, welcome, and consider subscribing to stay up to date for whenever new content is posted. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you all next time.